This 7.1 to 7.2 review is to help prepare you for the quiz that we took today in class. So the first part that we're going to go over is how to simplify ratios. And remember, when you're simplifying ratios, they need to have the same unit before you simplify. So for the first one, they do have the same unit, centimeters, and then we need to find a common factor between the two. And our common factor for number 1 is going to be 7. So if we divide these both by 7, we're going to get 2/3 for our ratio. And then I'm going to let you do number 2 on your own. For number 3, this one, they do not have the same unit. So we need to change one of them to feet or one of them to inches. For this one, I'm going to change the 36 inches to feet. So we have 36 inches, and to change that to feet, I'm going to divide it by 12, and that will tell me how many feet are in 36 inches, which is 3. So this is equal to 3 feet over 9 feet. Now the units are the same, and we can simplify by dividing both the top and the bottom by 3. And we would get 1/3 for our ratio. I'm again going to leave number 4 for you to try that one on your own, and I'll have an answer key that you can check your work on. The next few problems are working with ratios and extended ratios. The first example they give us is triangle ABC's angles are represented with the extended ratio 5, 12, 13. So these all line up with the angles of the triangle. So we have A, B, C for our triangle, and these are all of our angle measurements. And we are going to add x's with them when we put them in our triangle. So A is going to be represented by 5x, B is 12x, and C is 13x. All 3 angles within a triangle all add up to 180. So we're going to add these together and put that equal to 180. Then we can find the value of x, and then we can figure out what each angle equals. So if we add these all together, we're going to get 30x equals 180. Then we need to divide by 30, and we'll be left with x equals, let's see, we get rid of those zeros, and 6. X equals 6. Once we have that, we can solve for what each angle equals. So angle A is going to be 5 times 6, which will be 30. Angle B is 12 times 6, which will give us 72. And angle C is going to be 13 times 6, which equals 78. And that gives us our 3 answers. Number 6 is very similar to number 5, so I'm going to leave that one for you to do on your own, and then you can check your answer. Number 7 and 8, I'm going to set up the problems with you, and then you are going to solve for the variable and then answer the question they give us. So number 7 is talking about the perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 56 centimeters. So that's the information they gave us. The ratio of its length to its width is 6:1. So when we write that, we're going to add x's with these. So our ratio is 6:1x. They want us to find the length of each side of the rectangle. So remember, opposite sides on a rectangle are equal to each other. So there's another 6x and 1x here. And we are working with perimeter. So to find the perimeter of a rectangle, remember you add up all 4 sides. And that's going to be equal to the length they gave us of 56, because they told us the perimeter was 56. So you are going to go ahead and you're going to, 1, solve for x. Then you are going to substitute it in to find the lengths of the triangle. Or the sides, of the rectangle. I think I said triangle. There you go. So you can go ahead and finish this problem. If you want to pause the video to finish it, go ahead. I am going to be moving on to number 8. Number 8 is very similar to the previous. We're working with perimeter. Instead of a rectangle, though, this time we have a triangle. They tell us the perimeter is equal to 30. And the ratio of the 3 sides is 4 to 5 to 6. So right away, I'm going to add x's to those. And I'm going to put them on a triangle. So we have 4x, 5x, and 6x. For the perimeter, we're going to add all 3 sides together. And we already know the perimeter is equal to 30. So we're going to write 4x plus 5x plus 6x. That equals 30. And again, you're going to finish this one up on your own. You're going to solve for x, and then you're going to substitute it in to find the sides of the triangle this time. So this one, you're going to get 3 different answers. There's also a proportion on the quiz that this is helping us review for. When you're working with proportions, remember you're going to cross multiply. And anytime you have more than one term, you are going to put parentheses. So for this one, we're going to take 7 times b, which gives us 7b. And that is going to be equal to 5 times b plus 4. Now the reason we have to put the parentheses is so that we remember that we need to distribute this. And that would become 5b plus 20. If you don't distribute, you're not going to get the right answer, and then your proportion wouldn't make sense if you substituted the value back into the problem, because it wouldn't be a true statement. So for this one, as we work through it, you should see that your answer is going to be b equals 10. So I'm going to have you go ahead and do number 10 on your own. The only thing I'm going to say is this one is going to have 2 sets of parentheses. So you're going to have to distribute 2 different times. And again, check your work with the answer key to make sure that you did it correctly. Okay. Our last part of the review is working with similar figures. And we are going to write a proportionality statement for these 2 triangles. So the way that I do it to help people remember what sides go together, because they're not always in the same spot on the 2 triangles. I always start by circling the smallest side on both of the triangles, and then I put a box around the biggest side, or a square. So I know the circles go together and the squares go together. And then the side that doesn't have anything, those also go together. And for your proportionality statement, it doesn't really matter which triangle goes on top, as long as you stay consistent. So for my proportionality statement, I'm going to start with the smallest side, which is EF over GI. Because those were the 2 that had the smallest lengths. So I know those 2 go together for sure. And your proportionality statement is going to be equal to, then I'm going to set up a proportion with my 2 longest sides. And if you go in a different order, that's okay, as long as you are staying consistent and putting the names of the sides from the same triangle on the same part of your fraction. And then lastly, the sides, what I did not circle or put a box around, are going to go together as well. So this one is going to be EG over GH. And if your letters, if you put HG instead of GH, that's okay. That is still considered correct. Okay. The next one is your similarity statement. In the first triangle, they named it EFG. So we went from E to F and then F to G. So if you look along this path, we went past the circle to the square that we drew. So we're going to follow that same pattern in our second triangle. We're going to go past the circle to the square, and we are going to follow that path to name our second triangle. So this one, we're going to start up here at G, go to I, and then to H. And that is how you would complete your similarity statement. Next, we're going to find the scale factor of the triangle. Because this one doesn't say which one we're going to, I'm just going to write, we're going from EFG to GIH. Now, the one you're going to goes on the top. So when you're finding your scale factor, the one you're going to goes on top. So I'm going to pick the two circles from both my triangles. And I'm going to triangle GIH. So because I'm going to this triangle, that side length is going to go on top. And I said I was using the circles, so I'm going to put 16 over. And then the circle from our first triangle is 8. And you'll notice this can be simplified because we can divide both the top and the bottom by 8. When you do that, you are going to get 2 over 1. You should leave your scale factor as a fraction so that you have it there. And so you remember to do that when you're working with ratios. Okay. So that is the end of the review. So there's just a few problems that you need to do on your own. After that, you should be ready to go to complete the quiz that we took today in class. Let me know if you have any